Hello and welcome to day one of Vlogmas here on the Remote Rambler channel. And boy, is this going to be a month.
We are taking our first trip in this bus down to Baja, Mexico, which has been on our bucket list for I don't know how many years since we started doing this whole thing.
3 or 4 years we've been waiting for this month. And it's actually going to happen. It's happening.
And to make it happen, we have a whole laundry list of tasks that we got to accomplish.
Some days are going to be more exciting than others. Like when we finally hit Baja and we get that first sweet margarita. But other days we're going to be doing things like going to the vet, getting rid of stuff, downsizing.
Making sure we have all the right IDs and forms of identification.
Lots of printing, lots of paperwork. But at the end of it all, we will be in Mexico preparing for whale season, which I can't. Just expect a video that will be mostly me crying. But before we get there, there's a lot to do. And we are going to be posting daily vlogs. That's right. You heard it. Daily vlogs of this whole wild ride. And it's going to be a bit unvarnished, unedited, pulled back.
Check in daily to watch our campaign for good tears and good beers in Baja, Mexico.
What?
Good tears.
Happy tears.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start one more time. It's December 1st, and our first task in this laundry list of things to do is going through and downsizing. And you may be thinking, how much stuff can you possibly have in less than 200 square feet? And let me just tell you, way more than you could imagine. We have so much stuff. And maybe we actually don't. We probably have like 100th of the stuff you have in your house. But when you live in a space that's so small, any excess stuff feels so much larger because you just don't have a lot of room. So we gotta cut the fat, get rid of it, gotta go. If we don't absolutely love it, if it doesn't add to our lives on the daily, just got to go. Yesterday, the last day of November, I went through and did the front overhead cabinet. Now today we're doing the sofa and the dinette, and we're just going to slowly work our way back and back. I have no idea what's under this couch, to be honest. When was the last time we opened this couch?
We don't open it very much, but we have lots of like building supplies and paperwork and stuff.
Stuff. Gotta go.
I feel it getting close, I feel the joy in the air. Everybody's going home to the people they care for the most. And I'm on my way, 'cause you're my happy holiday.
As we were cleaning, we kept finding all this random stuff that we bought at various points, and recently, probably in the past month or so, Brandy bought some Christmas stuff, and so we have an advent calendar here that was buried under our sink, and we're gonna do it today. December 1st, here we go. I think this is a heart. Brandy thinks this is a boot. It's clearly a heart. What do you think?
Let us know in the comments. Okay, so downsizing went as you might expect. It was sort of horrible, right? Touching all the junk you own is not fun. But we got halfway through the bus, and that sets us up for a pretty good spot. We have lots of piles. So we have a trash pile, a donate pile, a keep pile, a project pile, a Mexico pile. There's just piles on piles on piles. But we are making headway. We're still just very much stuck in that it gets worse before it gets better stage. So right here, this little zone of the bus looks fantastic. And generally speaking, the front half does, just as a whole. Now, normally on Sundays, I meal prep for the week. I usually make like 3 big meals and then some like snacky foods to have around. But we haven't been to the grocery since Thanksgiving. I think the trauma of going to the grocery store the day before Thanksgiving has kept me from returning. So instead, we dug in the very back of our freezer and found these Trader Joe's gyozas, chicken and pork. Thank you, freezer gods. And they're going to be even better because I just got this crunchy chili onion, which all of the TikTok girlies say is chef's kiss, and I really hope that it is. So dumplings are actually one of our most favorite foods, and back when we lived in Morocco, we had a food truck, which meant that we had this massive chest freezer. I mean, it's like big enough that Ben could have killed me and put me inside of it. But so we'd use that for business, but we would also use it for personal use, because every so often we would have like these massive cook days where we would sit down and make hundreds of dumplings, hundreds of empanadas. There was nothing casual about it, but what it meant was that we had these things for months, and it was so lovely. I think one thing that we miss about living in the bus is not having space for like a deep freezer. And we know some buses that do, but we have not figured out how to do it. And whenever we get a house, that'll be like one of the first few things we have, because it's so convenient to have like fast ready meals, but we don't like buying stuff that's full of junk, and so much of like freezer food is. So anyways, long story short, let's get to cooking dumplings. So dumplings aren't the easiest freezer meal to make, but they are 1000% worth it. So let's walk through how to do it if you're new to dumpling making. First up, you want to coat the bottom of your pan with a few tablespoons of oil. We always use sesame oil because that nutty flavor is to die for. In this step, all you're looking for is to just brown up those bottoms. Get them all coated in the oil, let them fry for about probably 3 to 4 minutes. And then you're going to take some hot water and pour it in. A ton of steam. Just expect a ton of steam. Add enough water to get like maybe a centimeter of water. Some people say halfway up the dumpling. I think that's way too much. Just a little bit of water in there, okay? And then cover it and let it steam for probably 4 to 5 minutes. And then uncover it. And then dumplings are a bit tricky because they have a tendency to want to stick, but the goal is do not rip the dumplings off the pan. You'll see me jiggling them back and forth just a little bit with my tongs, and that's because when the dumplings are done, when they're ready to be pulled, they will release. So you just want to give them a little jiggle, and if they're done, they'll pop off. And if they're not, leave them be. Here's what they look like at the end. We normally top ours with soy sauce. And I normally make my own mix, but because we have it, we're going to use this chili oil, crunchy chili onion oil. And if we had sesame seeds and green onions, I would add those as well. But we don't, so we won't. Yum. Cheers.
Make sure you're subscribed and hit that little notification bell so you can get all of the updates and all of the hot goss as we go down to Baja, Mexico for the first time.
Are you ready? What does your face look like? Your hair.
Just go.